gonna go MLB at 17 years old.
All right, what's going on, everyone? And I am here now with a guy that means a lot to me. He actually coached in the league, the Campus Academy Developmental Basketball League, just won a championship. His son won the MVP. And I am with Coach Grant Smithwick. He's an assistant girls basketball coach. He was the assistant boys basketball coach for a long time. And he dropped a nugget on me, too. He's also was the baseball coach here. So, for one, talk to me what Calvary means to you. And, by the way, for those who don't know, we're having Grant on because Master Wall, which he works for, is one of our sponsors, and we appreciate them so much. So, Coach Grant, first things first, what does Calvary mean to you? How long has Calvary been a part of your life? And you got to talk about your baseball career, because I thought you were just a basketball player, because you're a heck of a basketball player, but you said you're even better at baseball.
Well, yeah, so I appreciate, first of all, you doing this and letting us come on and sponsor. And I appreciate the basketball league. We had a great time with that. But like I said, Trevor had a great time, so I appreciate all you do with kids and training and teaching. We've been around Calvary since I was born and raised here, my family. And we just love to support Calvary and athletics, and knowing that you were going to be here, I thought it was a great opportunity for us to support that as well, and as you promote our athletes around here.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and I love being a part of the community. And we're about to get started here in just a moment, but real quickly, your playing career, all right? What position you play when you were here, and then how many years were you the head baseball coach here as well?
So I played here from 1998 till 2002. Graduated.
Whoa, you're that old? No way.
I'm an old man. So I played shortstop, middle infield, and I was a pitcher as well, leadoff hitter. Really love baseball. Love basketball more, but baseball was definitely my skill set. And then coached from varsity here from 2006 to 2008. Trying to help rebuild the program after some years of coaches coming in and out.
Right.
Tried to give it some stability and handed it over to Sean Burns, who then Steve Smith took over for Sean after that. And Steve's done a great job building the program. Just an unbelievable program he's built. You see how many kids are here. It's unbelievable.
Unreal. How many state championships he won, going for number 5. Last thing, Grant, what is Master Wall? What does it entail for those who are interested in getting your services?
Sure. So Master Wall, we're an exterior building manufacturer, and particularly exterior wall systems, drainable wall systems, different exterior finishes. We sell through distributors throughout the United States, and it's a growing company with a great culture, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
It's a family-owned, and it's a small-town community. Now, you are national, but you're not too big for people around this community. You will go and do work for anybody. Is that correct, Grant?
Absolutely. We have a local company here called Creative Wall Products, where you can find all our products through them. So, yeah, we're local, too, as well as national.
All right, go Calvary Knights. Isn't that right, Coach Grant?
Thank
you so much for coming on. Thank you for everything you do for supporting us. And that is Coach Grant Smithwick. He's an assistant girls basketball coach. He was also assistant boys basketball coach. He was a head coach of the baseball team. And he played pretty much every sport here that Calvary had to offer during this time period. And now, without further ado, it is time for Game 2 of the GAPPS 3A State Championship game. Thank you again to Master Wall for coming and being a part of this.
I'm excited about this game. On the mound for the Kings Academy, who's the home team, Jimmy Anderson. He's got a 3.13 earned run average, 2-1 on the season. This is his 12th appearance so far for the Knights from the Kings Academy.
So Brock Tomlin's going to lead off. In last game, Richard, he was all over the place.
Oh, yes, he was. There's no doubt about it. A double, a single. He had a stolen base. Was there anything that he did not do? I mean, he didn't, 2 for 3. Incredible game yesterday, game 1.
He acts that one out of play for the first pitch. So, Calvary, now 27-5. They are trying to win their 5th straight state championship. They won that first one 5-0. Bailey Thorne had 14 strikeouts, hit a home run to help his cause, and was dominant throughout the game. And that one's it. Right back to the shortstop. Shortstop's going to make a play, and heaves it way over out of play. And that's going to give him a free base all the way to second now. And it's the leadoff man now at second base. Pitching right now is Jimmy Anderson.
And you know, Kings Academy going with the lefty. You know, Jimmy Anderson is their second starter. I mean, he's had a pretty good regular season. We talked about the Kings Academy, 16-6. They didn't play as many games as Calvary, but you know, these teams in the GAPPS, I mean, you know, they play less games because Calvary is willing to schedule whoever.
And he is way out of here. Don't know what was happening right there with Brock Tomlin.
Miscommunication. He was caught in no man's land. He had to make a decision, and he just went.
And that's a pinch runner anyway.
Because Brock Tomlin is actually...
Jay Buckner got out right there. Also, shout out to Coach Frank, the softball coach. Got to know him. He's actually sitting here right by us. And talk about they won back-to-back state championships for softball this year. That one's fouled out of play. Up the bat now is Will Sawtell, as Richard talked about. 1-1 the count.
Sawtell, he was 0 for 2 in the last game. He did lay down a sacrifice bunt. It wasn't an official at-bat. But he's hoping to get going. He's the protection ahead of Bailey Thorne in that heart of the lineup for Calvary.
1-1. And for strike 2.
Good lefty-lefty matchup here between Jimmy Anderson, the pitcher for the Kings Academy, and Will Sawtell.
1-2 the count.
Let's go, Jim.
That one's hit deep, part of the center field, but because of how deep the center fielder was there right there, he'd been able to make that play. Good play by Carter Payne. There's out number 2, and here comes the all-world player himself, who had a phenomenal game last time. And he had a home run, he had 14 strikeouts, and it's Bailey Thorne.
And Bailey Thorne, this is where you want, if you're the Kings Academy, no runners on base. That's how you want to pitch to Bailey Thorne.
First one's low for ball 1. Again, thanks to Grant Smithwick. I couldn't even get it out right. Grant Smithwick coming on, interviewing with us in Master Wall. Also, shout out to Jody Crum and Alliance Specialty Contractors. Swinging a miss right there for strike 1 to make it 1-1.
A little bit off that pitch, 68 miles an hour. But we know that Bailey Thorne can let one go. He had a home run in game 1.
Calvary and the Kings Academy Knights. Both of them are nice, and that one's going to be a rocket right up the middle for a base hit. You got to think, wasn't a base running blunder right there.
Would have scored a run.
Would have scored a run. Now at the bat, first baseman, Ty Jones.
Ty Jones, one of the hottest hitters for the Calvary Knights in that first game. 2 for 3. He had a double and a single with a run batted in, and he had a double that was a gapper, and it also speed on the base paths. And let's keep this 2-out rally going. He's trying to get Bailey Thorne home here in the first inning. Actually, a pretty good pickoff move by Anderson.
It was a great pickoff move. And just seeing where Calvary Athletics, not just all the facilities and how they've upgraded throughout the years, has been phenomenal. That one's high for ball 1.
Well, they truly have grown. And, you know, when you think of private schools in Columbus, I mean, you have Bocelli and Brookstone in the GIAA, but Calvary in the GAPPS, I mean, they have really made their mark, especially
they are the premier GAPPS baseball program.
Oh, there's no question.
That one's wild. Thorne's going to get over to second easily.
Bring him in.
For those of you who don't know what the GAPPS means, the Georgia Athletic Private Parochial School.
You make sure to say that very slow.
I had to make
if you
sure
said
that
5 times fast, you're probably going to mess it up.
I had to make sure that I got that right. Because people are probably like, what does the GAPPS stand for?
And parochial means religious schools.
Absolutely.
2-0 pitch to Ty Jones. low for ball 3.
The Keens Academy out of Woodstock, Georgia. Those of you not familiar with Woodstock, it's the North Metro Atlanta area where you have Kennesaw, Ackworth, Woodstock, Marietta, all in the same area.
Real pitch. Low for ball 4.
I just think he was just pitching around to Ty Jones.
I think so too. He saw that the
first base was open.
And now here comes the center fielder, Sebastian.
Well, the last time he had an official plate appearance, he lined out to the shortstop, but it was a rocket right to the shortstop. But he also walked in the second inning and scored a run. He's got good plate discipline, but with 2 outs and 2 runners on, you'd love to get a hold of one here, especially with a runner in scoring position. To hit it to the gap would be ideal in this situation.
How much low for ball 1?
Triv, I can't tell. Do we have a different umpire from game 1?
So yes, the umpires did rotate. So the one that was behind the plate is in the field, right behind the mound, and then
so a different strike zone.
Yeah, so we'll have a different strike zone. As long as he's consistent, there's nothing wrong with a good strike zone, but just make sure you're consistent.
It's got to be consistent.
Thank you to everybody tuning in. Greg Barringer, Richard Holdridge on the call at SportsVisions High School playoff coverage.
Oh my God.
And there is strike 1.
Good breaking ball by Anderson. 65 miles an hour. It gets right into the strike zone, evening the count at 1-1.
It's our second state championship series we've done. We did the Glenwood one on Wednesday, the 1-1 pitch, low for ball 2.
That was an experience.
It was a great experience.
Truly it was.
You know, to be an alum there and to be able to call that was an experience that I will always cherish forever.
Exactly. I know it meant a lot to you.
I don't take lightly calling this game as well. 2-1 the count. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss and a nice 76-mile-an-hour fastball, 77. High. They get Sebastian Griffith swinging and missing there to make it 2-2.
So head coach Steve Smith here for Calvary also coaches the Columbus Chattahoochee, which they're starting up in a couple of weeks.
2-2. Pitch on the way. Low for ball 3.
In fact, May the 27th, it's an all-Columbus matchup. The Chattahoochee taking on the Monsters at historic Golden Park.
How excited are you about that one?
I'm very excited because, you know, now that the Chakalaka Monsters are now the Chattahoochee Monsters, and then they just hired the assistant head coach from Central as the new manager for the Monsters.
3-2 pitch on the way. Outside for ball 4, and that loads the bases now. And here comes Bryson Spates.
Great discipline by Sebastian Griffith to get the walk. Back-to-back walks by Jimmy Anderson. Spates singled and scored a run in that first game for Calvary. It was a 5-0 win.
Y'all be careful with that so we don't get some of this stuff wet. All right?
Hey, don't hit my guy right here, bro. Sorry about that, sir.
You good? All right, here we go. There's the first ball to make it 1-0.
Thought about going, but smart decision to stay put at third.
Bases loaded right now. This would be a huge hit for Bryson Spates. Get some runs in. 1-0 pitch, low to make it 2-0.
This is the start that Calvary wants if they could try to get some runs here in the first inning. They are the visiting team here in Game 2. But if the Keens Academy can get out of this inning, that's all they want to try to do.
And that's outside for ball 3 to make it 3-0 now. And it looks like the pitcher is struggling, Coach Jimmy Anderson, to get strikes across the plate.
I think Spates is not going to swing on a 3-0 pitch.
3-0, high for ball 4, and that's going to be a 2-out walk right there. And here comes the pinch runner as he scores. That's using Bailey Thorne. And now we got a timeout by head coach Aaron Anderson. And I'm wondering if that's his son that's on the mound, Jimmy. By the way, Jimmy's stats on the season.
Yeah, so
Jimmy
Anderson, as far as pitching, I mean, he has been solid. 3.13 ERA and a 2-1 record. And he's also got a save. So.
All right, now Tommy Irvin's up to bat, and Tommy, last game, Richard, had a pretty decent game.
Oh, yeah, he did. He had a single, a sacrifice, and a fly out. But Tommy Irvin hit the home run in Game 2 against Cornerstone Prep. And, you know, he did not play in that first game, but he saw some action in the second game and hit a home run.
Yes, he did.
So he's got some pop.
And that one's behind Tommy, and there goes great jump. And a nice slide by Ty Jones, and there's run number 2.
Pitcher, you're awful!
And this is one of the things.
No, Ethan, we're not doing that, dude. If you're going to do that, you're going to leave.
This is one of the things right now that I was wondering, too, with talking about the Kings Academy is the pitching depth.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's going to be a problem headed into this game.
I'm thinking the same thing, too. So 3 straight walks.
1-0 count. Down the middle for strike 1.
That was a good pitch right down the middle, 73 miles an hour. Really, if the Kings Academy can get out of this inning, only giving up 2 runs, they get some confidence going into the bottom of the first.
1-1 pitch on the way. There's strike 2 right across the outside part of the plate.
That was good location.
Great location by Jimmy right there.
2 strikes in a row is a career high.
And we do have runners at second and third as Jones scored on the wild pitch.
1-2. Pitch on the way. Swings and a miss, but the base is open, so that means a run's going to score. And because of the pass ball, he did swing and miss, but because there's a base that was open, that allowed him to take off running because the catcher did not catch it cleanly. And there's run number 3. So now we got runners on first and third, and here comes the sophomore, Cam Houston.
0 for 3 in the last game. He struck out, popped out, grounded out. But Cam Houston, great shortstop. He's known for his glove. He's had some very good plays at short in Game 1. But this is what you want to do if you're Calvary. You're up 3-0 here in the top of the first. And really, the backs are against the wall for the Kings Academy here in Game 2. This is an elimination game for them.
Strike 1 right there, swing and a miss for Cam Houston. Calvary Christian already up 3-0. This is something that, you know, Aiden Mosley did a really good job at, only keeping the runs 1 an inning. They did give up 5, but against this Calvary offense, it can explode for 7 in 1 inning. There's strike 2, swing and a miss for Cam Houston. And Jimmy's got some good stuff so far. He little bit inconsistent in that first part of the inning, but right now he's trying to get out of the jam with only giving up 3 runs, which I think is pretty good.
I agree. He settled down.
Well, what it could be.
Exactly.
Could have been. 0-2 pitch on the way. That's hit right to the first baseman. He can't pick it up in time and finally gets his hand on it. And there is out number 3, but not before Calvary scores 3 runs. We're going to head to the bottom half of the first inning. And we're going to see for the first time today on the mound the pitcher, and I want to say it before we get out of here, is Brock Tumlin, who had a phenomenal Game 1 last week.
Oh, absolutely.
And Brock is 9-1 on the season. He has a ERA of 0.84. He don't even give up any runs. And he's pretty much the best pitcher on this Calvary staff. And that's saying something considering Bailey Thorne has had 14 strikeouts.
Absolutely. Scouting report on Brock Tumlin. He throws a 4-seam fastball that gets into the 84, 86 mile an hour range. He's total at 89. He's thrown 89. He also has a slider and a changeup.
This game is brought to you by Barringer Construction, LLC. For all your home remodeling needs, turn your house into your dream home. Call Glenn Barringer at 706-249-1099. Also give a shout out to Alliance Specialty Contractors, Jody Crum and his staff. You can see the signs out there. They support the Calvary program. They support what I do. And for all your roofing needs, call Jody Crum and his staff to make sure they take care of you. The Campus Academy, one of the premier private schools around the area. Barringer Construction, LLC, as I talked about. Master Wall Incorporated. Anything you need with exterior, interior walls, Master Wall is it for you. And Terry Johnson Agency, they've been taking care of, can't even get it out. Jeremy Crosby and Terry Johnson have been taking care of the community for over 30 years. Home, auto, life, and church. Call them at 706-324-6360. And now Brock Tomlin, 9-1 on the season, 0.84 ERA. And up to bat first for the Kings Academy is Davis Wyndham, the left fielder.
He was 1 for 3 last game. He had 2 strikeouts.
And there's strike one right down the middle for Brock Tomlin. Davis got on last time.
He did.
Led the game off with a single. Got all the way to third in that first inning. Was unable to score. There's strike 2. And I'll tell you what, these Calvary pitchers love painting that inside and outside of the plate.
They do. They could come over and paint my house. It looks like he paints corners.
I like it. Richard Holdridge with the zinger in here. 1-2 the count now. By the way, in Calvary's 5 playoff games, they've given up a total of 0 runs. So
absolutely incredible.
It's a pretty phenomenal feat for this Calvary team. They won 13-0, 21-0. They won 15-0 last week. They had 16-0, and just won 5-0 in the first game of the state championship. 2-2 pitch on the way. It's drilled, slow roller back to the mound. Nice play by Brock Tomlin for out number 1. Now here comes the pitcher, Jimmy Anderson.
Jimmy Anderson 0 for 3 in game 1 as he struck out twice, but Bailey Thorne did have 14 strikeouts. A lot of these hitters.
So I just got confirmation he is the coach's son, Coach Aaron Anderson of the Kings Academy. First pitch. Hack got a play.
And I was talking to one of the Kings Academy fans. I mean, the location of this, it's in Woodstock, but it's closer to Canton.
Yeah. Oh, that breaking pitch. It got me too. I thought it was going to hit him, but then it went across the plate. That was a nice curveball right there for Brock Tomlin. And by the way, he is a left-hander.
Yeah, he is. Lefty on lefty.
And there's strike 2.
And really, Thrift, a big shout out to the city of Woodstock because Etowah for the 7A are in the Final 4. So Woodstock is having pretty good showing
and there is strike 3, and Brock Tomlin picking up where he left off last game.
Very good control by Brock Tomlin.
And here's Jaden Lunt, the third baseman.
He went 0 for 2 last game, but he did draw a walk.
And that one's hit high in the air and is going to be out of play.
Love the stadium sound effects.
If you want to get Richard Holdridge happy, have a good PA announcer and have sound effects at a baseball game. Which I will say, nostalgia. I mean, that's what it should have.
And I did that young in my broadcasting career. I was the fill-in
pitch, and there's strike 2. And
I was the fill-in stadium sound effect guy for a AA team out of college, but would love to have it as a full-time gig, but they already had a guy.
0-2 pitch on the way, low for ball 1. We are getting some sprinkles right now. We hope that clears away here soon. We would definitely love to finish this game.
If we do have some notable people that are watching this game as well.
We have a live audience, basically.
Oh, yeah.
There you go,
strike 3. Wow.
Brock Tomlin goes 1, 2, 3 with 2 strikeouts. We're going to head to the top of the second. Calvary leads 3-0 here in the GAPPS 3A State Championship Series. They also lead the series 1-0, brought to you by Barringer Construction, Alliance Specialty Contractor, Terry Johnson Agency, Master Wall Incorporated, and the Campus Academy. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, Phil.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Everything going well?
Yeah. The thrift is over there if you want to say hi. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me, guys. Here. Hey, I got some of these. Oh. There's Bill Scoggins.
How you doing? Good, brother.
We got in the house, legend himself, Mr. Phil Scoggins. For one, when I saw that your grandson was playing, I was like, all right, that has to be the same Phil Scoggins I know and love. But, Phil, what does it mean to you to come here and support Calvary Athletics and see your grandson playing on such a phenomenal baseball program?
I'm going to tell you something that not a lot of people know. Back in January, I brought my dad down here from Lafayette, Georgia, which is my hometown. Mm-hmm. It's about 200 miles north of here. My dad played baseball in high school. He is staying at the Gardens at Calvary, and his window actually looks out toward the baseball field.
My goodness.
So he has 4 great-grandsons that are playing for the Calvary Knights.
That's awesome,
2
man.
of them are freshmen, Michael Giamona and Luke, Scott's son. And then Jacob and Isaac are the juniors. So we've got I've got 4 grandsons, and he's got 4 great-grandsons. I never played baseball in high school, just football.
Right.
But my dad was he was quite the baseball player. He was a catcher.
That's awesome, man. And it's awesome.
So that's a nice connection.
It's awesome, and that's awesome that he's able to sit here and watch it as well. And what can you say about Coach Steve Smith, Phil? He has got a phenomenal program. He's about to win. He's looking to win his 5th straight state championship. That's almost unheard of. And you've covered sports for a long time. You know that's an anomaly to see something like that.
Well, it's so incredible that he's still here. I think Steve could easily be at one of the major high schools in the state of Georgia, and probably even at the college level with the kind of statistics that he has on his resume. But we are so grateful and thankful that somebody hasn't scooped him up, and I was really thankful that he was named athletic director, because hopefully that means we're going to keep him for a while.
I think that's a great point, and he's done a phenomenal job building this program. So Joel Cadero gets on right there with an error, so he's going to move over to second. And now coming up the bat is Brock Tumlin. By the way, Phil, I was talking with your wife, Miss Judy. I was like, so when's Phil going to get here? When is Mr. Phil going to get here? And she told me you had to do the 6 o'clock do first. You had to do your job first, and then you're going to come and check out the game.
Well, she texted me the score, so we were able to get the 5-0 score on at the end of our 6 o'clock newscast. And, of course, we'll have highlights from both of these games on tonight on the 11th.
No doubt about it. You can watch Phil Scoggins, Tyler Redmond, and Jack Patterson. And we appreciate you so much. And I will say,
thanks for being here.
No doubt. And I will say before you get out of here, one of the highlights of my career, especially in this past year, is being able to hang out with you and Jack Patterson. Georgia-Tennessee game was a phenomenal game this year.
Yes.
Just being around you as a legend, DJ, and guys that have been giving me good advice. I appreciate you so much, Phil.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have a great game, and
Yes.
we're going to depend on you to pull them through here in the next few innings.
No doubt about it.
They got it under control.
I think so. So that is Phil Scoggins. He is
Thanks, Phil.
the WRBO lead anchor for news and a legend around this
Love watching
area.
him on the news. Does a great job on the news.
So it
with
looks
Teresa
like the
Whitaker.
rain is. He does a great
little
job
bit,
with Teresa.
yeah.
So by the way, Phil and Teresa were actually at the announcement for changing Fort Benning to Fort
Yes.
Moore. Live
What
there.
a
That was pretty
historic
cool. We
moment
haven't talked about that
yesterday.
And right now the rain is coming down. The count goes to 2-1.
I've got to get used to saying I got to go down to Fort Moore to go to the PX. As many of you know that I'm also in the military, so I get on Fort Moore
You're
now.
in the military?
Yeah.
I'm definitely kidding, man. I definitely didn't do that. And that's. Oh,
they called it foul.
I thought because he
I thought
caught
it was going to be because he
fair
caught
that-
it. Yeah.
So that's going to make it 2-2. No outs right now. We have a pinch runner in, by the way. Number 13 for Calvary, Austin Wiggins. He's the sophomore. He's pinch running for Joel Cordero, who got on with an error. And Tomlin trying to get this game going. Hopefully this rain slows down a little bit, but they don't plan on trying to. And we would hate for a weather delay right now,
we would.
especially when it's just a little drizzle off. And guess what? It's still packed here. fans ain't moving.
They got their umbrellas out.
And that's dedicated fans. And that's what I love about sports right there. It brings literally all different backgrounds. That's field off as bad. I didn't even mean to swing at that. It brings all different backgrounds and cultures together to support a cause, and that's what's happening here. Is Calvary trying to win their 5th straight state championship. That was awesome to be able to talk to Phil Scoggins right there.
Phenomenal broadcast.
I'm glad you got him, because I was going to find him anyway if you didn't bring him on.
And I got to say, that was the first time I've met Phil Scoggins.
3-2 pitch on the way is rocketed, foul, and that almost hit the umpire in the back right there. Got to keep your head on a swivel with this young man.
You know, as an up-and-coming broadcaster, I just really appreciate the job that all these broadcasters do in this industry.
Oh, yeah.
And Phil Scoggins is one of the best. He does the news so well, and he did sports as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, he loves sports.
Yep. 3-2 pitch. Low for ball 4. So now first and second with no outs. By the way, we do have a new pitcher on the mound. Number 44, Nathan Haynes. We breezed past that, and Nathan Haynes on the season.
And he's had 22 innings pitched. He's got a 0.94 earned run average, 1-0 on the season. He's been in 9 appearances, but it looks like he's their 3rd starter as far as the innings pitched. He's 4th on the team. I think he's a middle reliever.
Here's Will Saltell, who flat out last time. He's looking to put down a bunt. There's ball 1.
And Thrift, we haven't really called that many regular season games, but do they have a 4-man rotation in the regular season when it comes to starting pitching?
Yeah, I think so. I think most schools are willing to have that when it comes to regular season, but when it comes to postseason, you're going to use 1 to 2 pitchers, 3 and a bunch of relievers, and if you got to go 3 games.
Oh, that regular season was a grind. I remember having games on Tuesdays, and then you have the doubleheader on Friday, and then a game on Saturday. Usually when you get into region play, you have a home and home. And some teams play a lot more games than others. We saw Glenwood play close to 50 games.
Unreal. 2-0 pitch. Low, and that's going to get by the catcher. That's going to move the runners over to second and third. And it's 3-0, and now runners in scoring position, set up beautifully for Will Saltell,
who was 0 for 1 in the first inning. That was a tough first inning for the pitcher, starting pitcher for Keens Academy. But we're here in the second.
And there's ball 4 to load the bases to the worst person you can load the bases.
Not want to load the bases to this guy.
Mr. Bailey Thorne. Out of everyone on the Calvary lineup, which they got a bunch of great hitters, the last person you did want to load the bases for is the behemoth Bailey Thorne, who hit one last game about 450 feet that landed in the trees out there in left center.
14 home runs, 58 runs batted in, and I know he's got his average well above 576.
That one's fouled out of play.
Come on, Bailey.
For strike 1.
I actually would be sitting here like counting the hits and the at-bats, and on my calculator just figuring out the real-time batting average. That'd be probably the next assignment.
Let's go, Bailey.
But yeah, he hit 576, but he's
0-1, and that one's hit high, deep, and that one is wow! Bailey Thorne, we're still trying to find where that one landed. He hit it to the deepest part of the park, about 400 feet again, and we just talked about it. One small mistake with Bailey Thorne, he's going to make you pay. And he touches them all and gets a grand slam here in the second. That make it 7-0 Calvary.
Unbelievable. And opposite field power to right center. We knew it was gone once it left the bat. And, I got to say, that the grand slam for Bailey Thorne is...
And there is home run number 15.
Yeah, his RBIs now, 15 home runs, and now 62 RBIs.
I want to see Jackson Milam and Bailey Thorne
in a home run derby. I was thinking the same thing, Thrip.
Let's go, Ty.
But better yet, I would love to see Bailey Thorne and Jackson Milam someday in a Columbus Chattahoochee or Monsters uniform.
Jackson Milam's going to South Alabama. I don't know where Bailey Thorne is. I'm going to see if I can find that. There's strike 1.
Come on, Ty. Come on, man.
Is anybody that's around
us know? I think he is going somewhere. That I think
Bailey Thorne is going to college.
They mentioned to us Well, we'll look that up.
Oh, he's only a junior.
He's a junior.
Jesus. So we're going to be seeing this young man again.
We can see him next year.
So he's only a junior. I'm assuming he's a senior because he's breaking all these records, but my man's going to be coming back again trying to break his own record.
Oh, the future is bright.
Between him and Jackson Milam, they have 34 home runs combined.
Oh.
Most teams don't even have that in a season.
Carvin, you good?
Unbelievable. But anytime you see an underclassman really step up and perform at a high level, you see Jabria Lindsay, a freshman at Central, knowing that you're going to see a player like that for 3 more years. Here, Bailey Thorne, 1 more year at Calvary. Unbelievable.
Unreal. And there's ball 2 to Ty Jones right now, the first baseman.
Ty Jones walked and scored a run in the first inning. Had a pretty decent game in game 1, 2 for 3. The first baseman for Calvary.
32 and swing and a miss right there. Good strikeout for the pitcher, Nathan Haynes. And here's Sebastian Griffin.
Sebastian Griffin walked in the first. And he's trying to keep this game going alive with the bases empty with 1 out.
And that's outside for ball 1.
Very close. The radar gun clocking at 75 miles per hour.
I would give him 76 on that one.
Yeah.
We got a .9er. You got to go up.
You got to give it 76.
That one's hit high and deep, but I think it's going to stay in the park. Left fielder calls it and makes the play. Out number 2.
I tell you, we see the lights out there. The rain is still coming down. I mean, we can easily see the rain reflect off the light.
Yeah, but I think it has calmed down a little bit. Here comes Bryson Spates, and I love his walk-up song. Love Alicia Keys. That one's hit up high. It is in play. No, it is going to be out of play. If this young lady who's to the left of us did not get up in time,
it hit her chair.
That would have been her back or her head.
Absolutely, because she got up out of her chair, the ball lands right in her chair. And that's good sportsmanship. She gives the ball back. That's I don't think you can keep baseballs as souvenirs at high school baseball. You can in college, but
shoot, if I was one of those kids, I'd go out there and take one of those baseballs and hide it. I'd keep it, and that one's hit right to the shortstop. Collects, throws, and there's out number 3. But not before a mammoth grand slam by Bailey Thorne, his 15th home run this season, and second home run in consecutive games. We're going to head to the bottom of the 2nd inning. Now Calvary leads 7-0. It's game number 2 as Calvary leads 1-0 in the series of a GAPPS 3A Championship Series. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the broadcast. Rip Barringer, Richard Holdridge. It's SportsVision High School Playoff Baseball coverage. Live at Calvary, GAPPS 3A State Championship Series. Bailey Thorne on the mound with a 7-run lead here in this bottom of the 2nd. And first pitch is low for a ball. Up the bat now is first baseman number 44, Nathan Haynes. And that one's fouled off.
Well, Nathan Haynes went 0 for 3 in game 1. He struck out twice, and he also popped out.
A lot of people struck out last game.
Yeah, I've been saying that. Like
14
a lot of
strikeouts.
You have 14 strikeouts. You're bound to strike out at least twice. for some of these players.
1-1 pitch, and that one's a heater that goes about 82, and it's 1-2 now.
I'll tell you what, Brock Tumlin, he's had 2 strikeouts so far. He's had some good stuff early on in this game.
1-2 pitch. Strike 3, and man, that was a nasty one right there. And there is strikeout number 3, and that's 3 consecutive strikeouts.
I'm going to say
for Brock Tumlin, and here comes Game 1 pitcher, who had a really great game
He did.
pitching. I thought he did a good job against this Calvary lineup, holding them only to 5 runs. In the playoffs, they've been scoring 15 to 16 runs a game. Brock Tumlin's first pitch to him, swing and a miss for strike 1. But he batted. He did.
He was 0 for 3. Actually, yeah, 0 for 2. He reached on an error. Actually, when you reach on an error, it actually counts.
Yeah, that's an 0 for 3.
That's an 0 for 3.
And there is ball 1 to make it 1-1.
Helps your on base percentage, but you don't get credit for either a walk or a hit. The wind's starting to pick up here, Thrift, and now we're starting to see the rain.
The rain's really coming down right now. And I'm wondering, do we remember what the run rule was? It's 15 after 3.
It's 15 after 3, 12 after 4, and 10 after 5.
Deciding game, they don't know run rule? Okay, so in GAPPS, the deciding game, unlike in the AISA for Glenwood, deciding game, there is no run rule. So we'll go all the way to 7. There is strike number 2. So it could be 30-0, and they'll still be trying to finish this game in 7 innings. 2-2. Inside for ball 3.
That is very interesting that they do have that rule. I mean, that's something that we learned just now.
Yeah, and thanks to Coach Frank,
absolutely,
softball coach.
2-time state champion.
Back to back. And there is strike 3. And even if he didn't swing, which he did check swing, that was going to be a strike regardless. And there's strikeout number 4. And it looks like now after the first batter, Davis Wyndham, putting the ball in play for the ground out, no one else has been able to do that. That's 4 consecutive strikeouts. And up now is the center fielder, Carter Payne. First pitch to Payne. Payne hits it high. Go right to the shortstop, Bailey Payne. He did put it in play, but a 1-2-3 inning for Brock Tumlin. He's got 4 strikeouts already. Heading to the top of the 3rd, it's GAPPS 3A State Championship Series SportsVisions High School Playoff coverage, brought to you by Barringer Construction, LLC, Alliance Specialty Contractors, Terry Johnson Agency, the Campus Academy, and Massillon Incorporated. We'll be right back after this. All right, everybody, welcome back to the broadcast. Thrift Barringer, Richard Holdridge on the call. And now up to bat is Tommy Irving.
Tommy Irving struck out in the first inning, but he reached on a pass ball by the catcher, so he's able to get to first. It still counts as a strikeout in the books. It just, you reach on an error by the catcher.
There's ball 1. Tommy Irving did hit a home run last week, the second game we called, and that's inside for ball 2. Tommy Irving did hit a home run last week, the second game we called.
In that first game, Tommy Irving went 1 for 2. He had a sacrifice fly, a stolen base, and he drove in a run.
2-0 pitch is high to make it 3-0. And I don't think that's anything Nathan Haynes wants to do is have a leadoff walk.
Not at all. Got Cam Houston on deck.
3-0. Strike one right there to make it 3-1. Looks like the rain is definitely coming down right now. Even the wind's blowing so far.
Oh, and we are underneath a tent, but we're
shout out to Coach C. Smith taking care of us, putting us underneath the tent. I literally texted him today, hey, would love to have the same setup you did last time. He's like, I got you. And I was like, I knew he was going to take care of us. That one's hit right up the middle. Second baseman gets over there, but not in time as Tommy Irvin beats it out for a leadoff single. And here comes the sophomore, the shortstop, what I like to call deuce, Cam Houston.
And he grounded out to end the first. Houston also went 0 for 3 in game 1. But with no outs, got a runner on base. Could sacrifice Irving over because Cordero's really been putting the ball in play, but he's going to swing away.
And there was one all the way to the warning track. He was able to make the play.
That was a good cut.
It was a great piece of hitting right there by the sophomore. I literally thought he got underneath, and I would have loved to call a home run. I know his mama would have went crazy. I don't know where Amy is right now, but shout out to Miss Amy Houston.
You know, I think he heard me because here I am talking about he should bunt the runner over. He's like, no, I'm swinging away.
Yeah, Richard, what do you know? You be quiet. Let me play baseball.
I know, exactly. But here's a player that he's really been putting the ball in play.
And he's
Will Cordero.
Yeah, Joel Cordero.
Joel Trigueros, yeah.
And he got on by an error last time, but he did get 2 hits last game. And that one's a rocket right to the second baseman. And he catches, and I'm going to be honest, I thought that was a hit.
He was in the right place at the right time. It was like the shift. It was on.
And great job by the second baseman making that play and then turns a double play. And after a lead-off single, no damage done in that inning. We're going to head to the bottom of the third. Calvary still leads 7-0. This game is brought to you by Barringer Construction, LLC, Alliance Specialty Contractors, Maxwell Incorporated, Terry Johnson Agency, and the Campus Academy. Be right back after this SportsVision High School playoff coverage live on Thrift Barringer page.
No.
All right, welcome back to the call. Thrift Barringer, Richard Holdridge. And we are heading to the bottom of the third inning. Brock Tomlin has been pitching phenomenal baseball. He's got 4 strikeouts, no hits going right now. And up the bat is the second baseman, Josiah Werner. I do like the all-white uniforms right now for the Kings Academy. And there's strike one.
The Kings Academy, also known as the Knights in the GAPPS, as they had a 16-6 regular season overall record.
A 1 pitch. That one's fouled out of play to make it 0-2.
And this is the rematch of the championship series last year. As Calvary Christian going for their 5th championship.
So they won their first in 2018, won again in 2019. 2020 probably would have won it then, but COVID ended the year. Won again in 21, and then of course last year in 22, fouled out of play to still keep it 0-2. So technically this would be 6 straight.
Absolutely.
But we'll keep it at 5. go by the official stats because of COVID. And it's crazy to think COVID happened almost over 4 years ago.
Unbelievable.
And thinking back in those moments as the 0-2 pitch right now is slow roller over to second base. Good play by him. Good throw. And what a stretch.
Wow.
Those long legs are used for something. And right there, it used for a stretch to be able to get that play out. It's a good job running on the base path for Josiah Warner. But like I said, it's crazy to think that in this moment in 2020, we didn't know we were going to have sports again, when we were going to come back from it. And the fact that we're sitting here packed in this house, shoulder to shoulder, watching this state championship series, it's
good to be back.
It's good to be back.
Because I remember even 2021, it was still a crazy time because we were, we were wearing masks and we were like, the stadiums were like maybe 20% capacity.
And that's 1-1. 1-1 pitch. Low for 2-1. By the way, this will be my second state championship call for the Calvary Knights. I was able to do the Calvary Knights football state championship game. 2-1 pitch. Outside for ball 3. Me, DJ Jones, and Dale Williams. SportsVisions, we got to call them in their state championship win in 2020. That was a phenomenal season. And that one's going to be in for a base hit. And there's the first hit of the game, and a nice piece of base hitting right there by Isaac Randolph. And now here comes Ben Anderson.
And Isaac Randolph breaks up the no-hitter. Perfect game.
You did the jinx.
I did not say anything.
I didn't
about
say
that.
nothing either.
Neither
so they
did
ain't
I.
putting it on me.
It's not on me.
But that year was pretty cool to be able to call that state championship game. By the way, Jesse Donahoe, who is now playing at, I think, Georgia State, also playing for was playing the Chatahoots last year, was a phenomenal baseball player here for Calvary at shortstop. He came in halfway through the season and started quarterback. It really blew my mind that he came in because when you watch those games, you would have thought this guy's been playing football his whole life. And that's credit to the coaching staff and stuff for that season.
Absolutely.
But so this will be state championship number 2 that I've done for Calvary.
And also, I remember back in 2021, because I was PA announcing for Russell County, I remember Calvary Christian played Brookstone in football. And that's what I'd love to see, just a rival between.
And there's a swing and strike right there. And there's strikeout number 5. And there's 2 outs. And here comes the leadoff man. Man on first for Davis Wyndham.
And he grounded out in the first inning. That was not before Brock rattled off 4 straight strikeouts.
And there's strike 1.
But at least he got the ball in play. But Thrift, I would love to see this rivalry between Calvary Christian, Brookstone, and Pacelli. Just the 3 teams just playing each other.
I throw Glenwood in there because and he hits it better right there, and that's going to make it first and second.
I would, and they got a chance to play in football. Glenwood got to play Brookstone and Pacelli in football.
Yep.
They play in basketball and baseball. But one thing I learned this on the show when you had Coach Fanning, is the AISA is not allowed to play AHSAA
Well, that's a rule for both of them.
For both.
Glenwood wants to play Central and would love to play Smith Station, but they're not allowed. I think that's the stupidest rule ever. Coach Fanning wanted to get into it, but we don't want to take away from the interview of him winning a state championship. But I agree with him. That's nonsense. You should be able to play anyone who you want to play.
Exactly.
Doesn't make any sense to me. Strike 2. And that breaking pitch, 66. So he just threw a 81 mile an hour fastball and then changed it up with a 66 changeup. And that one's going to be a slow roller. Second baseman. It's going to be a tough play. Throws it to first. In time. And Brock Tomlin
over there.
Brock Tomlin strands 2 does Kings Academy, and we head now to the top of the 4th. Calvary leads 7-0. This broadcast is brought to you by Barringer Construction, LLC, Alliance Specialty Contractors, Masswell Incorporated, Terry Johnson Agency, and the Campus Academy. We will be right back after this.
Give me the
Today's
Okay. Oh.
Welcome back to the broadcast with Barringer and Richard Holdridge. With Barringer and Richard Holdridge on the call.
Calvary, number 21, Brock Tumlin.
And now the top of the lineup for Calvary is up. Brock Tumlin, the pitcher.
He is 0 for 1. He reached on an error in the first, but he walked his last time up.
Every time I see that scoreboard blink, it scares me.
I'm thinking the scoreboard's going to go out.
Yeah. Grant Smithwick heading out of here. Thank you to Master Wall for being a sponsor of ours, and Grant a huge supporter of Calvary Athletics. And Coach Steve Smithwick, his dad was a longtime basketball coach here. Grant's not the only child of Steve, but he's the one that I know the best. 0-2 pitch inside for 1-2.
He also does a great job coaching at the Campus Academy.
Yes, he did. And he was part of the Campus Academy Developmental League, and his son Trevor won MVP, and his team won the championship yesterday.
That was great.
And that shot, and that's down for a base hit. Nice piece of hitting, and he's going to turn into a double, and he gets in time. Good base running right there for Brock Tumlin to turn that single into a double.
And I love seeing opposite field power because it really throws people off. The right fielder probably wasn't expecting it and just got a bad jump on it. And Brock Tumlin said, "Why don't I stretch this to a double?" And it paid off because the throw was there. It just the shortstop bobbled the ball.
All right, Will Sawtell's up, and by the way, shout out to the Campus Academy. We held our basketball league. We had over 100 kids in that league. It was phenomenal. We had our championship yesterday, and Campus Academy, one of the great private schools around the area. If you're looking for a school to go to, they are a premier school in the area. Shout out to them for being a sponsor. Your daughters were in the cheerleading.
Yes.
I was able to run the basketball league there.
Something just to be mindful of. There is no 10-run, 15-run rule. They will play 7.
And knew that was going to happen. And as it is coming down now.
But Thrift, I got to say, you've done I've got to say this is my favorite word, phenomenal job with the duct tape on your camera.
I mean, and there is strikeout right there. Nice job by Nathan Haynes. Here comes Bailey Thorne, and last time he was up, he hit one about 600 feet.
It's just
center
landed.
field.
I would say it just landed, right, Thrift? Yeah, it was incredible.
And that one's hit to the shortstop. Bad hop, and that's going to send Brock Tumlin in. And there's run number 8.
That's going to be an error.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Now ready for Calvary, number 17, Ty Jones.
And now here comes the first baseman, Ty Jones.
He walked and scored a run in the first inning. He struck out his last at bat, but I've been impressed with his stretches at first, making it look easy. But Ty Jones would love to get a hold of one here with a runner in scoring position and 1 out. And I love his walk-up song, too.
That one's almost hit Ty.
That's what's great about when you're a high school baseball player, you get to pick your walk-up song. You're good. Yeah, Ty Jones in that first game, he had a pretty good game. He doubled and singled, and he had a run batted in. 5-0 was your score in that first game.
Yep.
As Calvary Christian wins game 1, this is an elimination game for the Keens Academy with their backs against the wall. They have got to win this game. I mean, they're down 8-0, but they would play a best of 3 tomorrow if necessary.
Yep. 1-1. Pitch on the way, and that one's hit. Out of play again.
But interesting thing about the GAPPS, it's at the home field of Calvary. The GIAA is being played at SRP Park in Augusta. You had the AISA played in Patterson and Montgomery. And then the GHSA is going to be at Coolray Field in Lawrenceville.
And there is ball 2 to make it 2-2.
And I know that the baseball players, they like playing in the baseball. We like calling baseball games in a ball field like that with a press box and everything. But seriously, there is nothing more special than hosting a championship game on your home field with all these fans here. You don't get to have this opportunity if you end up going to a neutral site.
2-2 pitch, low for ball 3 to make it 3-2. And I'm with you, but kind of not understanding the run rule aspect. You know what? If you don't want to do 10 runs, I understand. You know, let them finish the game. If it starts getting to 15, plus to 20, I mean, at what point is it like, all right, call off the dogs? And that one looked like it was a hit and go.
Well, and plus players will get restless. Umpires get restless. They start calling strikes. I mean, if it's close, they'll call strikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a table over here that
Definitely
some of our stuff's starting to get wet. That's a foul ball.
Hack, foul.
But I got to say, head coach Steve Smith, he's I know that Calvary's got off-season workouts, but he's pulling double duty. He's coaching the Chattahoots in a couple of weeks.
He's coaching the Chattahoots. You got summer baseball here.
Athletic director.
Athletic director.
He's got a man of many hats.
My man is doing this, doing that, but he knows that all the athletic support staff here at Calvary work together to make things happen. And that one is a line drive over the head of the left fielder off the wall. And that's going to be a one-out double for Ty Jones, and that one got out there in a hurry.
I thought it was out of here. It was very close. It was right at the wall. Ty Jones, great job to pull it out there to left field.
Now here comes number 2, Sebastian Griffith.
0 for 1, and he walked in the first inning. I'll tell you, Sebastian Griffith in that first game, he walked and scored a run, had a stolen base, had a rocket to the shortstop. He's really done a great job pulling the ball. And now he's got a great opportunity here with 1 out and 2 runners in scoring position.
First pitch, swing and a miss for strike 1.
That was a nice cut, 76-mile-an-hour fastball, as now the rain is really coming down.
You may have to go to the bathroom and get and I'll do the mics. There's ball 1 to make it 1-1. It has not stopped raining this entire game. And it says it's not even supposed to be raining here. And it's not supposed to start till 9, and it has not stopped raining. There's strike 2 to make it 1-2.
But it's not raining hard enough to call the game. That's the thing. It's just enough, and you can play
enough
baseball.
to be uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable, but it's not enough to call a game. No. They could play in this.
1-2, and there's ball 2 to make it 2-2.
Of course, they don't call football games even when it's in a monsoon.
No.
I mean, so we've seen sporting events where really baseball is really the only sport where they'll call it mainly because if the field is wet, like if it rained the day before.
2-2 pitch. Ball 3 to fold the count.
That was very close. Just to the outside of the plate.
3-2. That one's hit high, but it should stay in the park. Oh, he almost loses his balance. It will bring in a run, a sacrifice fly. And Bailey Thorne scores right there.
Number 10, Bryson Spates.
And that makes it 9-0 now. And here comes Bryson Spates. Wait till the end. Thank you, everybody, joining us. Thrift Barringer, Richard Holdridge on the call. SportsVisions High School playoff coverage. We're live here at Calvary's GAPPS 3A Championship Series. The Kings Academy versus Calvary, rematch of last year's championship series. That one's high for ball one. Calvary won the first game 5-0. Bailey Thorne had 14 strikeouts. And right now, Brock Tumlin, he's on his A game as well. We're at the top of the fourth. It's been all Calvary. Outside for ball two.
Spates is 0 for 1. He walked into the first run in the first inning, and he flied out his last at bat.
And there's another one that's hit high, but should stay in the park. The left fielder gets back. He's had a lot of work this inning, and
absolutely.
There's out number 3, but not before Calvary scores 2 more runs. One off the double of Ty Jones, and that's going to bring it down to the bottom of the fourth. Calvary leads 9-0. It's GAPPS 3A State Championship Series, brought to you by Barringer Construction, LLC, Alliance Specialty Contractors, Masterwall Incorporated, Terry Johnson Agency, and the Campus Academy. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the broadcast. Thrift Barringer and Richard Holdridge here. SportsVisions High School playoff coverage. Live for the GAPPS 3A State Championship Series as Calvary leads the series 1-0, and they're up 9-0 here. And we're heading to the bottom of the fourth inning.
Kings Academy, number 6, Jaden Buck.
Yeah, the rain is coming down hard now. We can actually hear it on the tent.
Yep. That one's hit high in the air. Left field, nice play by him for the first out of the inning.
Remember, there is no 10-run, 15-run rule here in a championship game. They will play the full 7 innings.
Out number 1. And as Richard just said, we will be playing all 7 innings. And it will be wet the whole time we do this broadcast. It's Brock Tomlin. He's been pitching excellent baseball so far.
Haynes struck out his last time up. That was in the second inning. One of Brock Tomlin's 5 strikeout victims. He does not pitch like a number 2 starter. He's got number 1 starter stuff. Reminds you of a duo at Glenwood. Jacob Page and Tyler Sykes.
Yes. Sykes pitched a really good game.
Yeah, he did.
He was able to go 6 innings of work, only giving up 3 runs. And that Glenwood State Championship win, 2-0 pitch. Fouled out of play to make it 2-1.
As WRBL's Tyler Redmond trying to stay dry under the tent.
I knew he said he was going to come in here. There's no doubt
he
about
was.
it.
Yeah, I'm here. It's a little wet out here, guys. But no, I mean, Calvary's taking care of business in game 2 for sure.
No doubt.
9-0. I mean, that's what you want to see after a shutout win in the first game is 4 innings of shutout baseball.
And I don't know if you know this, but we were given the update that in deciding games there is no run rule. So this will go all 7.
We will be here all 7, and we will continue to get wet out here as we film these highlights. But it's been a fun one, and we wouldn't be anywhere else, no matter what the weather conditions may be.
And by the way, after this broadcast, we will end it, and then we will go on the field, and I know you're going to get the interview, too, with Coach Steve Smith, and then you'll be able to see the highlights with Tyler Redmond on WRBL. It's fouled out of play to make it still 3-2.
Good catch there, Thrift.
Thank you. I've been literally, my head has been on swivel the entire time. We didn't have not one ball coming in the backstop at all last week, and this time we probably had 10. And I'll also be live on my Facebook page for the award ceremony and the interview with Coach Steve Smith. Also, we got to give him a shout out, Rico Mitchell, who works at WTVM, good guy, friends.
He gave me a rain jacket to use, so
you got to come on, show him some love.
Yeah, Rico's a friend. Rico's a good dude. Not a bad guy at all, that old Rico.
All right, Nathan Haynes gets on, and that is going to be a one-out walk. Haynes is going to now come back in. And Tyler, I do want to get a little bit of Braves talk right now.
All right.
Phenomenal baseball team who has had an incredible start to their season. And as a guy that keeps up with that, call you're an MLB expert. Did you expect this kind of start for the Braves?
I think the start was kind of hard to expect. I expected a year kind of like this of obviously success. It's hard not to.
Right.
After 5 years of winning the division and of course a World Series and every year you're in the hunt for the World Series. But that right now what I really didn't expect was to go 2 months without Max Fried and Kyle Wright. That's going to be a big hurt for the Braves. I think that they have enough depth to be able to handle that. You may see a couple of Alex Anthopoulos-style trades in the mix in the future.
No doubt.
Probably not right now, a little too early, but I definitely think the Braves are going to have to show their depth and use their depth. It's a little too early for the idea of Michael Soroka, but in a couple of weeks he very well may get his first shot back after 2 years. So they're in win now mode, and they got to win now without Max Fried and Kyle Wright.
Well, hopefully they'll get back and to form, especially Max Fried, back to form that we were accustomed to seeing. But I will say there's one thing I do trust, and that one's going to be right back to the third baseman, Cam Houston, over to second. First play, and he goes him out.
Double play.
And there's a double play to end the inning, and now we're going to head to the top of the 5th inning, and it's 9-0 Calvary. And Tyler, let's go back to what we were just talking about with the Atlanta Braves. And we had John Schuerholz. We've had general managers in the past who've done phenomenal jobs. But I'm going to be honest, I think he's one of the best GMs in baseball, and he's one of the best GMs in Braves history, and that's saying a lot considering how much pedigree the Braves had and how successful they've been over the last 30 years.
No doubt about it. I mean, you look at what he did, and I know obviously with a World Series team, you're going to have pluses, not negatives, but you look at what he did in 2021 at the trade deadline. I mean, acquiring Jorge Soler, Eddie Rosario, Jock Peterson. You look at that. That's your NLDS MVP, what would be your NLDS MVP, and Jock Peterson, your NLCS MVP, and your World Series MVP, all at the trade deadline. And for what did it cost you? Next to nothing. So nobody does a better job. And if there's any GM in the game you can trust, it's Alex Anthopoulos.
I completely agree, Tyler, and I'm excited to see how the rest of the season is playing out. Tyler, thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast. By the way, you'll hear Tyler Redmond on the SportsVisions radio show this Monday coming up, 4 to 6 p.m. He always starts the broadcast, him and Jack, 4 to 10. And Tyler, I know you're looking forward to be on there. We'll be talking about this championship game and everything else that's going to happen over the weekend. I know you're always looking forward to being part of the broadcast.
Always. You guys do a great job. You, DJ, and of course Richard Holdridge right here all do a great job at SportsVisions. And we thank you for what you do too.
Thank you, brother. And hold on, Tyler, before you get out of here. You plug WRBL, but you might as well plug the real thing.
All right, go ahead and check out Braves on Deck with Tyler Redmond on YouTube. Whenever you get a chance, we have interviews with former Brave stars, current Brave stars, and of course my Braves takes every day almost. So go check it out. Braves on Deck with Tyler Redmond. And, of course, check out Tyler Redmond at WRBL.com as well.
I only trust Tyler Redmond, so that's where I get all my Braves information. And also on deck. And I don't know how he gets it, but these incredible guests.
Yeah.
It's pretty. I want to know how much he's paying them. Because
Nothing. They do it for free.
Tyler Redmond, thank you
It's
so
incredible.
much. 9-0 here, and we're heading to the top of the 5th.
And they will play the full 7 innings.
Yes, they will. But we are now in the top of the 5th, and coming up is Tommy Irving.
Tommy Irving, he singled his last at bat. He's actually been on base twice. At this point, the rain is not slowing down. Right now, they're just trying to get to the 7th inning. Up 9-0.
We're just trying to.
I know that.
We're trying to get out of here with all our equipment staying alive.
Exactly. We got towels. That almost hit him. That very close, and he did hit him.
Yeah, that did hit.
It got his jersey, and he will go to first.
Now ready for Calvary, number 22, Cam Houston.
And now here comes the third baseman. He's playing this game, not shortstop. Bailey Thorne's the shortstop.
Remember, Cam Houston had a long fly out his last at bat to left fielder.
Thought he got under it and thought he may have had one. That one strike one.
He's showing that he's capable of hitting it to the deepest part of the field.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, tuning in. Just make sure to share this video and tag me. Let me know that you're watching. You can leave a comment below. 0-1 pitch. Outside for ball 1 to make it 1-1. Richard Holdridge and Thrift Barringer. And we've had a phenomenal year this year calling basketball.
We
First
sure
started
have.
with football, then we called basketball, now baseball. A lot of fun. A lot of fun indeed. And I'm glad. I'm not going to say this is the last broadcast, especially for high school sports. This is probably pretty much the last one that I'll be doing for the 2022-2023 school year.
Definitely won't be our last broadcast, Thrift. I'm honored to call these games with you. Thank you so much for allowing me to call these games with you.
Yeah. No doubt, Richard, and I appreciate you always being reliable. 2-1 pitch high to make it 3-1. And it's been a great year of broadcasting. We've got a good summer coming up and looking forward to next year, man.
Absolutely. This has been a great week of championship baseball. I was at the Smith Station Central. Yeah, one of the games. I joined a couple of innings. That place was packed.
And shame on the AHSAA for not allowing us to broadcast that. But you know what? Whatever.
Yeah.
We're still going to support them. But I just don't, I'm telling you, it's just like some of these organizations are very fickle about why, and this is what I don't understand. Why does it matter if we have 30 people live streaming the game? It's about exposure to these young athletes. Why are you trying to monetize high school athletics? Never understand that, but I don't want to get into it right now. We do this not for the money. We do this for the kids and the players and everyone else that supports these teams. And there is strike 1 to Joel Cordero. First and second, no outs.
And Joel Cordero actually got a pretty decent hit. It's just the second baseman was just in the right place at the right time. Otherwise, it would have been a base hit. He's been doing a very good job of getting the ball in play.
0-1. Pitch on the way. And that one's hit to the shortstop. He jumps over it, but he flips it over to second to get Cam Houston out for the first out of the inning. But that does move the runner over. Now it's first and third, and here comes Brock Tomlin.
I love it. Top of the order for Calvary Christian up 9-0. I liked Cordero sliding into first. I think that he was just doing everything he could to avoid the double play. And now we got runners at the corners with 1 out. And Brock Tomlin, who doubled his last time up. It was one of those that looked like it was close to being gone. It hit the fence. And he has definitely got some power. Just that top of the lineup for Calvary Christian. And he's also pitching. I mean, just an all-around athlete for the Calvary Christian Knights.
And he's done a phenomenal, as we like to say.
That's our favorite word, Thrift. Phenomenal.
And that, whoa! That almost tipped off. and every bit of the Calvary dugout.
They are all
of
shooken
them
up.
dunked, even though they got a fence blocking them. But I will say this, Coach Donahoe, he didn't move. He didn't even flinch. I mean, he kept the same face as the ball came straight to him. He would have called that. I feel like he would have called that with one hand. What's the guy's name, the Dos Equis guys? That's what I think of Coach
The most
Donahoe.
interesting man in the world?
That's him.
That is Pate State material right there.
Look at you trying to get a Josh Pate shout-out right now, man. 9-0 here in the
By the way, I loved it when he was on SportsVisions a couple of
bottom
weeks
of
ago.
the fourth, top of the fifth.
Yeah, that was one of the greatest interviews I've ever witnessed. You did a great job with the interview, Thrift. And
I appreciate it. Well, for one, Josh is a longtime friend of mine. He's a guy that means a lot to me, was a great mentor, and he always comes on the show whenever I ask him to, and appreciate him. 0-1. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Runner goes. Throws it down. In time.
Good throw.
And he throws him out. And a great throw right there by the catcher, Jerry Whitehead.
And that's a risky play when you have runners in the corners because...
Oh, that is Jaden Lunt. All right. So
they switched
Jerry
the catches.
is not playing right now. So Jaden Lunt is the catcher right now.
It's like they switched him out.
Jerry's at third, so they'd actually swap positions. And there is strike three. And nice job getting out of the inning right there. Runner left on first and third. No runs scored. We head to the bottom of the fifth. Calvary leads 9-0 here in game 2 as they lead the series 1-0 of the GAPPS 3A State Championship game. We'll be right back after this.
83.
Pay attention to Brock. If he hits any kind of spikes, let us know. We're looking for anything.
Excuse me, guys. Excuse me.
Welcome back to the broadcast here. Bottom of the fifth inning now. Calvary leads 9-0. Brock Tomlin still on the mound. Carter Payne's up to bat. He fouls out one out of play. That one, Carter Payne hits it to the first baseman. He bobbles it, and he's not going to be able to make the play in time. And Carter Payne gets on. I love a good suited section.
Yep.
There's always that one person in the suited section. No matter where we're at, there's always that one, and they always mean well, but sometimes they just like crossing that line.
You mean the heckler?
I wouldn't call him a heckler. I would just call him a very enthusiastic fan.
We used to have that in our basketball games in college. That one.
Yeah, so
fan
at Glenwood, we had the bleacher creatures, and they used to be brutal. I would have hated playing against us, I'll tell you that. And there is ball one to make it 1-1.
But it is part of the game. I think it is. But Werner up to the plate. He grounded out in the third inning.
Hacked out of play to make it 1-2 the count now.
I have never seen in my time calling baseball games with you, Thrift, so many lively foul balls. They're hitting nets. They're hitting the fence over there. Is it has something to do with the ball being wet and it's just slipping off the bat? You think that?
I don't know. That's a good question right there, Richard.
That
We need
could be
sports
it.
science, don't we?
That is sports
Do
science.
you remember sports science?
I
And
do
one's
remember
hit
that.
Right back to the mound.
That was a
He
great
throws
show.
It to short. He throws it back to first. And he does
It's
it.
close. I thought he got it.
I honestly thought he was going to do a punch out. So aside from the lawnmower strikeout call, this used to be one of my favorites. When how an aggressive one. Like I'm talking about. It's like the 5th time you're pulling the lawnmower and it's not cranking
I love
yet.
it.
Yeah, I like that call and I like a good punch out.
Randolph singled in the 3rd inning. He's hoping to get
Up
on base
now
again.
is Isaac Randolph for the Kings Academy. We are going to have a pinch runner as the pitcher, Josiah Warner, is going to come out. Number 25 now.
Levi Wilbanks.
And Levi Wilbanks will come on to pinch run. That one is in for a strike.
He broke his wrist on that one. They're calling that a strike. You could pull the bat back and it won't be called a strike, but you could tell, and that's why they have the first base umpire.
And that one almost hit him.
Because they could get a better
Breaking
angle
pitch.
at it.
Yeah.
And Calvary is just hoping for a double play here.
Trying to get out of this inning. The rain did slow down just a little bit.
People from Massachusetts watching the feed.
So we got people from Massachusetts watching right now. Again, Coach Steve Smith is from Massachusetts. Huge Boston Red Sox fan. First time I ever interviewed him, he talked about how much he loved Boston. And if I had to pick between the Yankees and the Red Sox, I'm taking the Red Sox every day of the
taking
week.
the Red Sox as
I
well.
cannot
Absolutely.
stand the Yankees. Swing and a miss right there for strike 2 to make it 2-2. So we thank everyone that's watching from Auburn, from Columbus, all the way to Massachusetts and everywhere across the nation tuning in to watch Calvary try to win their 5th straight state championship. Coach Steve Smith's doing something that is unprecedented. So in my tenure, keeping up with sports, playing sports, and now covering sports, I've never seen a team win 5 consecutive state championships. I've seen 3. Glenwood did it 09, 10, and 11. Columbus High did it 09, 10, and 11.
Yep.
But no team that I've seen has won 5 consecutive. And they were strike 3 to make it
And
strikeout number
Kings Academy number
Yes.
15, Ben Anderson.
6.
Yeah.
Now for Brock Tomlin. Here comes Ben Anderson. There's a swing and a miss right there.
now I've seen a team do 4 state titles, but Calvary could be doing something that no team in Georgia or in Alabama has done.
And that off pitch.
Wow.
Off-speed pitch right there.
I got to see
Good
what,
night.
65 miles?
But that right there, the breaking of it,
Oh, it was
that's
perfect.
a tough pitch to hit. He would have made me look silly, no doubt. And that one's hit out of play. Good cut to make it 0-2.
Oh, it doesn't count. So if it hit off the fence, but it looked like Cordero is trying to catch it just to
Show off his
just
skills.
to show off his skills. Yeah, that's. I like Cordero as a catcher.
I do
He's
too.
got.
By the way,
he's got
shout
some
out to Coach
personality.
Tony Dimitri.
Russell
Watched out
County's
Russell
head
County.
baseball
He had a
coach.
good season.
They're on the doorstep of the playoffs.
By the way, this is not breaking news, and that hits him. He gets the first base, and that's going to be a 2-out hit by pitch to make it 1st and 2nd. Coach Tony Rasmus is now the head coach at Lakeside Academy
Down in Eufaula. Yes. That is awesome. Congratulations to Coach Rasmus.
And here comes Coach Steve Smith, and I'm wondering if he's about to get pulled. And this is the end of Brock Tomlin.
What I loved about Coach Dimitri is just the way that he got Russell County on the doorstep of the playoffs. And I really enjoyed watching his son and his nephew in the Little League Southeast Regional on ESPN, where
Awesome.
as Harris County was 1 game away from the Little League World Series.
Wow. And we've seen Northern, we've seen Phoenix City.
Oh,
I mean, all
District
the top,
8 is
yeah.
actually, the tournament is in a couple of weeks. We could see Northern taking on Harris County.
Northern's been in the
Peach.
Little League World Series twice. They actually won one in 2006 and made another one, I think, in 2011, 12, 13, something around then.
That whole group, I mean, they all went to Northside and Columbus in the early 2010s.
And there is strike 1. That's actually, they were all my age.
All responsible for that. Josh Lester, You have Brady Hamilton.
0-1 pitch. That one's hit. Out of play.
You have Cody Walker. He hit that 2-run homer in the championship game against Japan. Incredible
0-2
stuff.
pitch on the way. Foul back. He made Richard jump right there.
A little bit, just a little bit. Hey, in 2006, I was living up in Atlanta. That really put Columbus on the map.
Oh, yeah.
But Brady was talking about how they had a parade at the Civic Center. They were signing autographs till 2 in the morning, and they were rock stars when they came back from Williamsport.
And there is strike 3.
And the lawnmower.
Gets out of that with leaving runners stranded on first and second. We head to the top of the 6th. Calvary leads 9-0. It's SportsVisions High School baseball playoff coverage, GAPPS 3A State Championship Series. Brought to you by Barringer Construction, LLC, Alliance Specialty Contractors, Masterall Incorporated, Terry Johnson Agency, Barringer Construction, and the Campus Academy. We will be right back after this. Welcome back to the broadcast. Rick Barringer, Richard Holdridge on the call, and we are heading to the top of the 6th now of the GAPPS 3A State Championship game. It's been all Calvary here. They lead 9-0.
Thrift fingers crossed that it's actually stopped raining for a brief moment. I do see a little bit of mist, but that just might be the reflection from the light.
We're going to hope it stops raining. Now it's up Will Sawtell, and I had the pleasure of covering Georgia-Auburn games this year. I got to be in the SC Championship game. I got to be in the National Championship game. It's been a great year broadcasting for me, but I'm going to be honest, these 2 state championship games I've called with Glenwood and Calvary is at the top of that list. I also put up there the Brookstone Pacelli Elite 8 basketball game.
Absolutely.
That was pretty fun. Calling the middle school championship between Aaron Cone and Richards. I mean, I've never seen a game more packed than when I got to call that. I don't know if people are either going to be tired of hearing my voice because I'm almost at every big-time game, or they like what I'm doing, but I've enjoyed it this year, and it's been a lot of fun. And up the bat, Will Sawtell, he's got to count 1-1. Will Sawtell on the day, on today's game.
He's 0 for 2, and he walked in the 3rd inning, 2nd inning, rather.
And that makes it 2-1.
And, I mean, Calvary's up 9-0. I mean, they're trying to close this game out. I mean, I know that a lot of fans are restless. They want to see this end. But the good news is that the rain has stopped, knock on wood. Let's hope that it continues just to stay like this.
And there's a swing and a miss for strike 2 to make it 2-2.
And I know that, high school baseball is going to end, but we have an incredible summer of District 8 baseball, Southeast Regional in Warner Robins, Little League World Series in August.
And that one's fouled back to make it 2-2.
I remember how long the journey is from opening day and that first weekend in March all the way to that last weekend at Williamsport in August, the Little League World Series.
Are you going to go?
I want to go to the Southeast Regional. It's in Warner Robins.
Are you going to make it all the way to Williamsport?
I'm not going to make it all the way to Williamsport.
3-2.
Look, so the story, Dave Platt said this story. That they had
You can't say Dave Platter's name without saying that's a look of sports.
Oh, yeah.
You can't say it. If you're not going to say it like that, you can't talk about Dave Platter.
All right. But he, as Sawtell walks there, he did mention how there was a rainout in the game against Japan. So a lot of fans up in Williamsport had to go because they had early flights. A lot of them did not see them clinch against Japan. But how great was that for the city? I mean, that's definitely one of those signs you got to see outside when you enter Columbus.
Yeah. Here's Bailey Thorne. Bailey Thorne on the day.
I mean, has there been a hotter hitter in this game? I mean, he's reached base all 3 times, but he is 2 for 3, and one of those just happens to be the grand slam. He has over 60 RBIs on the season, 15 home runs.
And that one's hit high.
He knows it.
And gone for Bailey Thorne.
Wow.
See ya. And as I like to say, wouldn't want to be ya. Second home run of the day for Bailey Thorne, 3rd of the series. That's home run number 16. And he teed off on that one, and now it's 11-0, Calvary Christian.
Unbelievable. Bailey Thorne. And he's only a junior. We're going to get to see this once again next year.
My man has a bright future, and I'm assuming there's a lot of colleges already want this young man on their team now. No doubt about it.
And look, I love just staring at it. I love it. He knew he was gone once he hit the bat.
That's one thing I always love and never understood when it comes to Major League Baseball is the unwritten rule crap. And Ty Jones up right now. So one of the things that used to bother me, and Brian McCann, who's one of my favorite players that played for the Braves, he was like the focal point of this unwritten rule stuff. There should be emotion in sports. You should celebrate when you do something good. Now, you shouldn't be over-celebrating. You don't want to be obnoxious with it.
Don't really need to flip the bat.
But you shouldn't be getting hit in the head because you stared at your home run a little too long. And that was something that Major League Baseball players, and I would used to get in an argument. I was like, how can you justify that one's hit out of play? How can you justify literally throwing a baseball at someone because they hit it about 500 feet last time they were up at bat?
It makes no sense. But Ty Jones, he doubled his last time up. He's also scored a run.
2-1, and there's a swing and a miss to make it strike 2 to make it 2-2.
I tell you, Ty Jones had a very consistent 2 games, not only at the plate but also at first base. I mean, he's had some plays over at first base where he stretched enough to get the double plays and to get the outs when they normally would have beat out the throw.
Full count, 3-2. Richard Holdridge, Trip Barringer on the call. And that one's hit high. And deep. And see ya! Back-to-back home runs. And Ty Jones. You saw that one as soon as it left the bat. That looked eerily similar to Jorge Soler from the championship game. And that's his 2nd home run of the season. He got a hold of that one. He got all of it.
And I love the celebration at home plate. That was, wow. Griff, you get really good at these home run calls.
I mean, you saw my timing right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
perfect. You could not time that perfectly. That was incredible.
Calvary is held up 12-0, Richard.
They're up 12-0. There's no 10-run, 12-run rule in the championship.
The floodgates are
open. They are. Normally they would call this game if this was in a regular season.
Bailey's number 2 in the nation.
So Bailey Thorne, number 2 in the nation. He has 16 home runs on the season. He has been incredible.
Absolutely.
I know Jackson Milam, he had 19. But Jackson Milam also, and that's what the disgrace about Max Preps. You got to update it.
Update your Max Preps.
See,
come on.
Coaches, it's not just for a common fan to see it. It's for college scouts to see it.
Exactly.
They use that. For broadcasters, for people that are giving them exposure. And I'm pretty much
Oh, is he like at 6?
don't understand why they wouldn't want to do that at all. So, according to Max Preps, the leader in home runs this year has 17. Well, Jackson Milan hit 19 for Glenwood, and Bailey Thorne's got 16 right now. So we got two guys in the Tri-City area that lead the country, not just the state, not just their region, not just their classification or whatever else. They lead the country.
Calvary's known for leading the country. Remember, the running back Jaden Mason led rushing yards for football.
And if he didn't get hurt, I don't imagine what would have happened to him. I really hate it for that young man, and I hope he goes somewhere to play football.
Absolutely. We had a chance to see him in basketball and during the Border Wars. Those were the first 2 games we got to call Calvary Christian. The girls basketball and boys basketball.
So we do have a relief pitcher, and I want to say thank you to all our sponsors, including Terry Johnson Agency, LLC. Mr. Terry Johnson, I don't know what I would do without him. He's been excellent in supporting me. Terry Johnson Agency, home, auto, church, life, car insurance. They're going to take care of you. They've been taking care of the community for over 30 years. Him, Jeremy Crosby, his daughter, and they do a phenomenal job. So all your insurance needs, call Terry Johnson at 706-324-6360. Also thanking the Barringer Construction, Alliance Specialty Contractors, Master Wall Incorporated, and the Campus Academy. All right, on the mound now is Carter Payne.
He was playing center field for the Kings Academy.
We're
now he's the lefty in relief here in the top of the 6th inning. Looks like the scoreboard is still, actually we're still in the 5th inning.
First pitch in the dirt for Carter. I will say the ball is wet.
Yeah, it is.
And at this point, you're down 12-0. I feel like you shouldn't have a lot of pressure on you. Just be out there, be comfortable. There's nothing you're going to do that's going to change this game. Ball 2. There is no out, so back-to-back home runs to start off and lead off this inning. We are in the top of the 6th. It's 12-0 Calvary. There's strike 1 to make it 2-1.
Griffith walked his first time up. He flied out, grounded out. He's trying to keep this inning going with no outs.
Calvary Christian, 27-5 on the season. Trying to go to 28-5 and get state champion number 5. You like that, didn't you?
I do. And we can't say drive for 5 because that's already taken. Somebody's got it. I mean, it's trademarked somewhere. But I love the 5 championships.
Trying to get it here. Up 12-0. 3-1 pitch.
That's a walk.
Don't know how that went to strike, and if you're the umpire at this point, let's widen that strike zone. You know
I agree. I absolutely
Especially
agree.
when you know there is no run rule, you're not getting out of here next inning. You got to play at least. Well, Kings Academy got a match twice, so we got at least 1.5 innings left. And basically 2, because there's no outs here.
You're absolutely right for it tonight.
Ball 1.
So Spade's 0 for 2. He walked in the first inning, but he walked with the bases loaded, so he gets credit for an RBI. You don't put the ball in play with your bat, but you get credit for the RBI when you walk in the bases loaded. Good fun baseball fact.
You're all about dropping the nuggets.
I do. I like the baseball facts.
And that's hit out of play. Calvary fans have not gone anywhere. They're here to support. I mean, heck, if you sit through the rain this long, you might as well stay as it slows down, and we hope it stays away so we can get through these last couple innings and the award show.
Exactly. And you know Thrift Baseball's year-round. They're going to have workouts in the summer, fall ball.
And that one's hit high.
That's a gapper.
And that's going to be a gapper. And I don't even know why Sebastian Griffith thought that they were going to catch it. He gets down in time, and that's going to get in the dugout. That means Sebastian's got to get it down. He is down. And there is a no-out double that brings Sebastian Griffith home for a run number 13.
And I love the hustle there by Griffith to get the 13th run.
All right, now up the bat, this is where Coach Steve Smith is going to start emptying the bench.
He is.
And here comes Levi
Carroll.
Levi Carroll.
And he's batting .200 on the season with 3 runs batted in. He's only had 10 plate appearances.
Long way. And what is he?
He's a junior. But Coach Smith, he's got a mixture of freshman, sophomore, junior, underclassmen, upperclassmen. He says the future looks bright for Calvary Christian.
That one's high, but nice play by the catcher to make it 2-0.
But Thrift, I know that when you dominate in the gaps like Calvary has, does the idea of moving to the GIAA ever come into a conversation with the athletic director?
Yeah, and I think that's they're very much in the realm of possibility for Calvary as they're dominating gaps, and maybe it's time to see what the next step is. That one's hit out of play.
But then the GIAA, we know how competitive it is with teams like Stratford Academy and First Presbyterian Day, and of course St. Appicelli and Brookstone. I mean, sometimes, when you dominate it at the level, like you move up and you could still have that success. And of course, the GIAA is just they're playing their championship game at SRP Park in Augusta.
2-2 count, pitch, swing and a miss, and there's a strikeout for Carter Payne. We're out number 1.
Number 23, Peyton Morrison.
So
Here comes Peyton Morrison.
Now we saw him in game 2 against
last week.
Yeah, when Coach Smith unloaded the bench, he's only had 22 plate appearances and 1 RBI, batting .111. But he is also a junior.
And I can see Coach Smith talking to Coach Donahoe about making some changes, and we're pretty much calling this one over.
I agree.
Here's Peyton Morrison.
Not a whole lot of seniors on this team. I'm counting maybe 5 on the roster. So you're going to have a lot of players back.
No doubt. There's ball 1.
And then I'm really excited about seeing Calvary Christian football in the fall with new head football coach Emmanuel Brunson.
Oh, yeah. And there's strike 1 to make it 1-1.
And Calvary Christian won a soccer championship and went back-to-back in softball.
High for ball 2 to make it 2-1.
And that's really what head coach Steve Smith and also as the athletic director has really done. These programs have been really successful.
And that one's going to be hit behind the backstop.
I tell you, I got to say, Thrift, your camera has really held up to this point.
It has. I'm not going to complain. It's done its job.
The real MVP is the tape that's holding it together.
The $2 duct tape from CVS. And that one's hit right back up the middle. Second baseman makes a play, throws it over to first, and there's out number 2. Moves the runner over to third. And here comes number 3 for Calvary. Bryson Brooks, the sophomore.
He's had 50 plate appearances, and I love his walk-up song. Averaging 189 with 8 runs batted in. And that's pretty much all I could say. I love the walk-up song. Can't describe it because of the copyrights. Yeah, right now Coach Smith is just unloading his bench. Already up 13-0 here in the top of the 5th inning. Remember, Calvary is the road team here in Game 2. They were the home team in Game 1. They won 5-0. And that was probably the most competitive Calvary baseball game that we've seen.
Yeah, no doubt.
And
it was a good game.
It was a good, yeah. I agree.
And Bailey Thorne had to pitch a good game to keep them in it. They've got a lot of runs scored that
14
game.
strikeouts. Dominant.
Swing and a miss right there for strike 1.
And I got to say, I know that the Kings Academy fans making that trip from Woodstock, it's a 2.5-hour drive. I know it's a Friday night, but just hats off to them sticking it out and just being here in the rain.
2-1 now.
You know, I know it's not easy going through Atlanta traffic. Knowing where Woodstock is.
Is there anything that you hate worse than Atlanta traffic?
Absolutely hate Atlanta traffic, especially when you get on 75, 575. That's where Woodstock is.
2-1. 3-1.
And a big shout out to Etowah, a 7A program up in Woodstock in the Final Four. LaGrange taking on Lovelet tomorrow in a doubleheader. They're in the semifinals.
Wow. 3-1 pitch, and there's ball 4.
Good.
And here
Good two-out walk.
Brock Tumlin.
Now batting for Calvary, number 21, Brock Tumlin.
Well, Brock Tumlin is 1 for 3. He's got a double, and he also walked. So Coach Smith is keeping the top of the lineup up in there, up 13-0. I think this is just Brock Tumlin is a senior.
Yeah.
Just leaving him there.
You're not taking him out for his last game.
No,
you're
not at all.
You're letting him in.
Yeah, I agree. That's the right decision. He's had such an incredible career at Calvary Christian, and truly is a class act. I mean, all these players are approachable, and they really love the exposure. And what Coach Smith has done here, he's really been a mentor, and developing these players has just been absolutely incredible.
1-1 pitch. Low for ball 2.
That was a good stop. Good
Great
stop
by the catcher.
Yeah, he did. And they did change out catchers. I mean, they got. We're still here in the top of the 5th inning.
2-1. Up the middle, and that's a good base hit from Brock Tomlin, and what could be his final at bat as a Calvary Knight, bringing a run to make it 14-0 now.
For Calvary, number 1, Will Sawtell.
Well, Will Sawtell has really shown some discipline at the plate. I mean, he's walked twice, flied out in the first. He's also struck out, but he's one of those players that is a table setter. He gets on base, and hopefully he can get on base here with 2 outs.
And there's strike 1.
Because I believe that Bailey Thorne would be the hitter on deck if Will Sawtell is able to get on here. But I got to say, Thrift, you've had an incredible broadcast. You had WRBL news anchor Phil Scoggins on, and Tyler Redmond.
Grant Smithwick.
And Grant Smith, yeah.
Enjoyed calling these games.
Absolutely.
2-1 now. So this is all we're waiting on is that fat lady to come out and sing. Still got about an inning and a half before she comes out and makes an appearance.
That is just high.
2-1.
One of my favorite baseball movies is Major League. I've always loved that call.
Not better than Bull Durham.
It's not better than Bull Durham. It's one of. I got like a.
And what's the other one called with the pitcher that had the arm that played for the Cubs?
Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year. That's another one. Those 3, top notch.
Yeah.
Now the rookie was a good one.
Oh, with
Dennis Quaid.
Jim Morris. Yeah, he played Jim Morris. The
bases loaded.
That was a great story. He was a high school coach and he was a high school teacher and baseball coach. He made a bet with his team, and the team won, and so he tried out for the major leagues.
Try out. 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Oh! Bailey Thorne wanted that one so bad he almost threw his back out.
Well, you know why they started winning? Because they were hitting major league pitching during their at-bats.
No doubt.
So when they timed the pitching,
he didn't make them look like fools, though, at the beginning.
Come on, Bailey.
And then they finally started getting up to it.
Yeah.
1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss to make it 2-1.
Come on, Bailey. Come on, be smart.
But I was going to say
1-2.
Well, I was going to say, like Bob Uecker, his call in Major League, that just a bit outside is
Bob Uecker.
Bob Uecker, yeah. Well, the fictional broadcaster Harry Doyle.
Yeah, but Bob Uecker also. He's a phenomenal.
He's a great broadcaster.
I remembered him from Major League, but I didn't think he was an actual real broadcaster until I was like, oh, he's a Brewers.
The Brewers play-by-play. Yeah, absolutely.
And One of my favorite moments, you're right, is when he throws it so far outside, the catcher won't even catch it. Just a bit outside. 1-2 pitch. And that one is just a bit inside. Almost hits Bailey Thorne. Make it 2-2.
And Bobby Z's a Brewers fan, right?
Shout out to Bobby Z, former ESPN radio guy.
Yeah. Bucks fan. And
2-2. 14-0 here.
Still in the
Pitch
top
on the way.
of the fifth.
That one's hit to the shortstop. He throws it to first.
That's going to end the inning.
And that will end the inning, but not before Calvary tacks on 2 more runs to make it 14-0.
And there's no 10-run rule.
And that's going to take us to the bottom of the 6th. It's all Calvary here. This is brought to you by Barringer Construction, LLC, Alliance Specialty Contractors, Terry Johnson Agency, Master Wall Incorporated, and the Campus Academy. We'll be right back after this. Richard Holdridge, Trip Barringer on the call. Got to give my boy Richard some credit. He gets up every time music's being played, so Facebook can't get us. And that time he got up all about 2 seconds as the music didn't play that
Well,
long.
it's because they stopped. They weren't playing music, and then they started playing 2 seconds of a song. $14-0 is your score here in the bottom of the 5th. As they will play the full 7 here on the campus of Calvary Christian. One of many private schools here in Columbus. I know we got some smaller ones like...
There's a base hit right there.
Oh, I was hoping for the 9-3 put out.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to see that. I've saw it before in another game.
And almost
That
out
was
there
close.
right there.
That was close.
But that's a leadoff hit for Jimmy Anderson. And now here comes Jaden Lunt.
You got to give credit to the Keens Academy fans. Still here, still rooting for their team. And just being in a championship game, I mean, they've earned it. I mean, they've been playing great all season. And Calvary is just playing on another level. I mean, they don't play like a team that it plays in the GAPPS, because look at who they play. They play Pacelli, they play Glenwood, they play Lee County, it's a 6A school. They play Northside, a 5A school. Head coach Steve Smith is not afraid to play anybody.
No, not at all. .1-0 pitch. That one's hit high. And out of play. Come on, Bailey. I mean, not Bailey, Brock.
I tell you, Brock Tumlin's still out there. He looks like he has not skipped a beat.
And I think he's a senior. Why not let him finish the game?
Exactly.
You got a 14-run lead. 2-1 pitch, and that one's hit high, and
I think it's going to stay.
it's gonna get out of play.
It's going to be on the other side of the foul pole.
Come on, Jaden, you got this.
And that makes it 2-2 now.
I got to say a big shout out to Ron Ronsdale. Thank you for supporting us.
Good play by the second baseman over to short.
I got it.
Double play, not in time.
He had some close plays so far. They've been like inches from being a double play. I mean, right now, here in the bottom of the 5th inning, I mean, they'll take as many outs as they can to get through in this.
Number 16, Tyler Giovanni.
Shout out to Ron Ronsdale for checking in. Thank you, Richard, for the shout out.
Oh yeah, I love doing the shout outs.
You got anybody you want to shout out?
I mean, if they're watching, I mean, I saw that Coach Dimitri, Coach Brunson was watching, Coach Tim Fanning was watching.
Coach Fanning.
Big shout out to the champion coach from Glenwood.
Swing and a miss right there for strike 2 to make it 0-2.
I would like to see next season, I would like to see them reveal their championship banner and whenever they get their rings.
Yeah, and that will be probably during football season when they usually do
That's
it.
what I'm
Strike
thinking,
3
too.
right there. And there's out number 2. And that is strikeout number...
That's going to be strikeout number 8 for Brock Tumlin.
Number 8 for Brock Tumlin. Here comes Aiden Mosley.
Mosley was one of those strikeout victims for Brock Tumlin. He struck out 4 straight batters from the first and the second. And I'm trying to look at the radar guns, got him at 77 miles an hour. It's a 2 different style of pitchers, Bailey Thorne, Brock Tumlin, and it keeps the Keens hitters guessing.
Well, one is left-handed, one is right-handed, but they both got filthy stuff, both got great velocity, and both expect to be pitching at the next level. 1-1 pitch, 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th. Swing and a miss right there to make it 1-2.
But when you're playing in high school baseball playoffs, best of 3, and you got 2 quality starters that start game 1 and game 2, kind of like what we saw with Glenwood with Jacob Page and Tyler Sykes, it's hard to beat.
And there's strike 3, and that will end the inning. Calvary is 3 outs away from another state championship. 14-0 here. This game is brought to you by Alliance Specialty Contractors, Barringer Construction, LLC, Masterwall Incorporated, Terry Johnson Agency, and the Campus Academy. We will be right back after this final inning of baseball here. All Calvary.
Hey, what inning is it? The scoreboard's messed up. Is it the 6th?
I think we are in the 6th.
Nick,
So on this one, remember,
I didn't touch it.
Huh?
I didn't touch it.
Welcome back to the ballpark. We are 6 outs away, 3 from Calvary, and of course Calvary is 3 outs away from winning another state championship. Been a great night of baseball aside from the rain, and weather's been great. Fans have been excellent.
The rain has stopped.
And we're just trying to end this night with another Calvary state championship win.
And that 14-0, that is not a football score. That is the amount of runs that Calvary has. Really, they've done a great job in this game too, just being relentless, knowing that they got to win this game because they don't want to go to a game 3 because anything can happen in a game 3.
Oh, anything can happen, but
Yeah.
Richard, that really I was just thinking about that. If that does happen, it would be one of the more incredible comebacks we've ever seen. Like to think 14 runs in 1 inning, and then to come back and win.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to say, a big shout out to Blondesdale. No, I do want to say, I do have some family members that are up in Woodstock, and I mentioned to them that I was calling a game where they know the Kings Academy.
I'm glad you mentioned family. Let's give a shout out to your wife, Miss Stacy.
It is Military Spouse Day today.
No, I'm not just because of that, but because she supports you in your career.
Thank you.
She allows you to be here with me when I need it, and appreciate you to Miss Stacy. Love your girls, Lindley and Morgan.
Thank you. I do appreciate that, Thrift.
Yeah, no, and just like same with me, like you can't do it without a lover. You got to have support.
You're
staff.
right.
And I appreciate everyone that has been in my life.
Well, I tell you, up to the plate for Calvary Christian is one of the hottest hitters that's been around. As Ty Jones hit a home run his last time up, and it was a long shot. It was really. He went back to back after Bailey Thorne. I mean, so we got all excited because Bailey Thorne hit one, and then next thing you know, Ty Jones is hitting one. It's incredible.
Let's go, Ty.
And he's a senior. I mean, so this is a special moment for him. This could be his last at bat in his Calvary career.
That one's in the dirt.
And I'm really curious. I like to see where these kids are going to college.
Yeah, me too, man.
And you never know. I mean, head coach Smith is the coach of the Columbus Chattahoochee. We've seen Jesse Donahoe in a Chattahoochee uniform. There's a pretty good shot that some of these players could be playing for the Chattahoochee one day.
By the way, Bailey Thorne broke Cody Russell's single season hits record of 59 in this series. He already set the home run record set by Jesse Donahoe in 2021-13 with his 16th. He's just breaking his record. And they currently have 13 alumni that are playing in collegiate baseball. Think about that. That's pretty incredible, man.
That's pretty incredible.
Last year, Calvary beat Kings Academy 3-1 and 7-6. So that's how close the games were last year. This year, this Calvary team's they're just dominant, man. Nothing against this Kings Academy team. And Brock Tomlin is 12th in the state of Georgia in strikeouts. I'm assuming he went up. Yeah. And I'm wondering where Bailey Thorne is, but he hadn't had to pitch as much. But if he had 14 strikeouts today, I mean, that's got to add to his strikeout total. It's only going to make it pretty incredible.
I do got to say, Thrift, I do got to say a happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. It's Mother's Day weekend.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Sunday
Definitely.
is Mother's Day.
And to all these kids, mothers, everyone's a boy mom. I mean, of course you love your dad as growing up, but mom means something special to you. And that's a walk for Sebastian Griffith. But shout out to all the moms. Hope they have a fantastic Mother's Day weekend. Here's Bryson Spates.
He doubled his last time up. 14-0. There's no 10-run rule. We're here in the 6th inning. Not 6 more outs to go. I mean, at this point, I know Coach Smith has put some of his bench players in the bottom of the lineup. I mean, but there's just so much depth on this Calvary team.
That's a swing and a miss right there.
Small right here.
Again, everybody watching right now, we are 3 outs away from Calvary when they come up the bottom half of the inning to winning another state championship. Make sure to share this video. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. That's a pop-up. And the second baseman gets under it for out number 1. There's out number 2, excuse me.
I think more than
Ty
anything,
Jones got the first out.
this has really been a special week in high school baseball, seeing Glenwood win a state championship. Calvary is 6 outs away from winning a state championship. Central,
3 outs.
3 outs. You're right, 3 outs. Central could go back to back, and LaGrange could win a state championship.
I mean, think about that.
The Chattahoochee Valley has just got baseball talent everywhere, and we all know why.
And that one's going to be hit off the leg.
It's these little league programs that compete to go to the Little League World Series.
Yeah.
You got Phoenix City. They went to the Little League World Series in 1999. And then Northern went to the Little League World Series a couple times. They won it in 2006. Harris County, one game away from going to the Little League World Series last year. I mean, I cannot wait for District A baseball.
We know what Richard will be in the month of June.
Probably going to be on vacation, but I'll be following District A baseball.
1-0, almost hits Noah to make it 2-0. 2 outs here, man on second. 14-0. That's in for a strike to make it 2-1.
And you also have the other baseball leagues, the Dixie Youth Baseball, and then you also have the Cal Ripken League, and
That's
set up these baseball players to play in the high school level and then eventually at the collegiate level.
Oh, yeah.
Because they learn the fundamentals. Because I played baseball for 7 years. I learned the fundamentals from just baseball practice. Going to baseball practice and then learning how to field and learning how to throw and hit.
2-2 pitch. He did swing, and there it is. That strikeout. Nice job by Carter Payne coming in, doing a phenomenal job in relief. And the Kings Academy and Calvary Christian Knights headed to the final at bat. Brock Tomlin trying to do a complete game, up 14-0, and Calvary's trying to end their playoff run without giving up one run this entire run.
Perfect.
We'll be right back after this, brought to you by Barringer Construction, LLC, the Lions Specialty Contractor, Terry Johnson Agency, the Campus Academy, and Maxwell Incorporated. All right, Calvary Christian, 3 outs away from another state championship victory.
And Thrift, we are getting close to 30 minutes to tip off from that Warriors-Lakers game, Game 6.
Ready for that one. I know that.
Miami Heat leading the New York Knicks 69-67 in the third.
And we already saw last night the Philadelphia 76ers and Doc Rivers do what they normally do, which is choke.
Yeah.
And they choked Game 6 away, so we got a Game 7, Boston and 76ers 0-1. There's strike 2, and where this strike zone got widened a little bit.
A little bit.
I don't blame him. He's trying to get out of here.
Brock Tomlin, 8 strikeouts, still in the game.
0-2 and strike 3
That's
for Brock
number 9.
Tomlin. There's out number 1. But you're right. Looking forward to seeing how the NBA playoffs play out. By the way, Riverfest tomorrow. Come down to Woodruff Park if you need something to do. I'll be emceeing. It should be a lot of fun. Glad to be a part of that. All right, Calvary Christian, 2 outs away now from another state championship.
Good pitch.
A big shout out to the Carver head baseball coach Michael Long Jr. also watching us, saying that we're doing a great job. And Coach, I know Thrift and I have been talking about calling some of your games next year.
Oh yeah,
we're excited.
0-1, swing and a miss, strike 2.
Yeah, what he did with that program, 8 wins. He wins Game Changer of the Year, a national award. They were on the doorstep of the playoffs last year.
Michael Long, shout out to him, and thank you so much for tuning in. 0-2, pitch on the way, foul back.
Pitch.
And Brock Tomlin has been on his A game all game long between him and Bailey Thorne. They have been in a 1-2 power punching combo that has given the Kings Academy everything they can handle. 0-2 pitch on the way, slow roller, over to first. Ty Jones flips it. Does it get it out? No! And it does! Nice place by Brock Tomlin for the second out of the inning.
I'm not sure. It looks like he is.
Oh, see, he said safe.
He called him safe.
I guess because I heard him. I don't know what I was looking at right there, but obviously it wasn't the play. But
it was a very close
I just
play,
heard him say, "Hoot." So that could be out or safe. It's not a word. It's just a
exactly.
noise. So it was hoot. And that hoot thought was an out. Foul back. So that is still 2 outs away for Calvary.
Well, hopefully they could try to get a double play here. I mean, we still, even though the rain has stopped.
And there's a swing and a miss for strike 2. 0-2 the count now.
And remember, the Keens Academy is the home team here in game 2. They will get last at bats.
0-2 pitch. Runner takes all. Strike 3. Run.
What a throw.
Strike him
He
out.
got him. He dropped the ball.
He
I think
dropped the ball.
What a
And
throw
I thought
by
I was going to
Cordero.
have a strikeout throw out in the same breath to end a state championship, but the referee didn't want me to be great.
No, I don't know
the
why.
umpire.
But you see, you're used to basketball.
I just can't help it. Listen, I didn't say out of bounds this game. That was like I said that so many broadcasts. I'm calling so many. I called 60 basketball games this year, and that one's hit high, straight to the third baseman, and this could do it. And there it is. The Calvary Christian Knights win their 5th state championship game, state championship series in a row. Fantastic.
Oh, with a flip.
Wondering what's happening right now. Why is nobody? Oh, is that 2 outs? So a premature celebration and a
little bit. They thought that runner was safe. Well, okay.
That is 3 outs. The umpires didn't want me to be great, but that's 5 consecutive state championships for the Calvary Christian Knights. Unbelievable. Great performance by Calvary Christian. Dominant. Bailey Thorne wins game 1 with 14 strikeouts. Brock Tomlin goes complete 7 innings in game 2. And Calvary Christian ends their playoff run without giving up a earned run. They didn't give up a run at all. And they're a state champion for the 5th consecutive year.
5 years for Calvary Christian. There's the bell. Wow. Well deserved. Calvary Christian, like you mentioned, dominant all season long, and in the championship game, 14-0. But I got to say, the Keens Academy, a great effort by the Keens Academy in this championship game.
All right, we're going to end this broadcast, and we're going to go down on the field, and we're going to get ready for the award ceremony or an interview with Coach Steve Smith. For everybody watching, thank you so much. We will be back as Calvary wins their 5th consecutive state championship. For Barringer Richard Holdridge in the broadcast.